Here I am out in the field with the Nokta Legend 2, so let's give it a quick spin. So as you can see there, this is wet ground. Actually it's very conductive ground because we've had animals grazing on it for hundreds of years, and obviously it will be very salty, so this machine is acting quite stable on conductive ground. And this very often poses a problem when using a high frequency, but this Legend 2 seems to be very, very stable. It's a little bit low on the numbers, but that's such a sweet sound. That non-ferrous meter is so confident. Look, I'm gonna have a go at that one. Right down there, look. And it looks to me, oh, it's a button. Yeah, it's a button. Well, that's our first target, and we'll be back in the field very, very shortly. But firstly, let's have a look at some of these Nokta Legend 2 features. Of course, we're going to be doing some more videos on this Legend 2 in the very near future. This is just a quick look at the machine and my initial thoughts. Okay, let's get started. So we have on off, menu select, ground balance, right, left, up and down keys, quick menu select, pinpoint and select key. I'll talk about these in a minute. At the top there we have 5 factory default programs. We have park, field, beach, relic and gold hunting. Now each one of these has 4 programs. Number 1 is your default program, so you can save another 3 into these empty slots. So before I get anywhere, let's just turn this sensitivity down just a few notches, just to quieten it down a little bit because we're indoors. So let me tell you a little bit about this field. It used to be an ancient park, but in recent years it's gone under private ownership, and that's why we've got permission to search it. So really this is park hunting combined with field hunting. You just don't know what you're going to find, but there is a lot of surface trash here, so we need to be a little bit canny on those signals. So I think what I'm going to do here is primarily coin shooting. I'm just going to cherry pick those high conductive targets that could be coins. I think with any new machine, when you go out in the field for the first couple of times, just dig the confident sounds just so you get used to it. And there's plenty of time later on to start investigating those sounds which aren't quite 100%. We call them 50-50 targets because sometimes they turn out to be something good. That's a nice one. Ah, looks like a coin, modern coin. Yay! Excellent, we've got a coin. We get a coin, the dog gets a treat. Okay, let's start off with obviously the sensitivity level. This is the target depth level, a depth indicator. And you'll see there we have the ferrous and non-ferrous meters. So if a target is confidently non-ferrous, it will grey up to the right. If there's ferrous involved, it will grey off to the left. But there's a dual function for this, and we'll talk about that in a second. That's the factory programs. At the bottom here we have our discrimination level. Now as you can see there, the letter F, and it's not showing, so this is rejected. So basically it's the iron level is all been rejected here. So let's get straight into the quick menu by pressing this. And at the top there you can see on the quick menu sensitivity, frequency, discrimination, recovery speed, bottle cap reject and an iron filter, kind of a stabilizer. Now if you want it to have your sensitivity as a default, when you hit the quick select menu, all you have to do is press and hold the pinpoint button and it marks it as sensitivity. So every time you go into the quick menu, sensitivity will be the one active. So frequencies, we have M2, M3. Let's go at the beginning. We start off with M1. That's a multi-frequency, number one. This is probably your all-round detecting frequency. M2 is a slightly higher frequency. M3 is to be used in slightly wetter conditions because it eliminates the wet ground. And then we've got single frequency, 4 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz, 40 kilohertz, and we're back to the multi-frequency again. When I'm hunting for sort of Roman and ancient coins, I try and stick to the M2 because it's more sensitive to the low conductive targets. Let's quickly move on to the beach program because I just want to point something out there. When it comes to the beach program, MD, which is dry sand, and MW, which is wet sand. So that's when you're in the beach mode. Real quiet squeaker there. Let's have a look at the frequencies. So we're in M2. Let's try M1. I think that's stronger in M1. Yep. M3, weaker. So obviously kind of makes sense. That's a high conductive target based on the number 40. Nothing in 40. So it's a high conductive target based on the number, and the lower frequencies are going to snag it better. Let's try the pinpoint. Oh, that pinpoint is way too sensitive. Needs a sensitivity adjustment on that. No, won't be using that. Just use the wiggle method where you just wiggle the coil, bring it back slowly. When it disappears, it's underneath that Nokta logo. Can you see it down there? Look, that was a flipping deep coin. I don't know what it is yet. It's not a modern coin, that's for sure. Oh, that was deep. That was deep. Let's go down one more. Now this is our discrimination range. As you saw there, we're on F. But if we scroll round, custom, A, so that's accepting everything, including the feedback from the ground. And there you have the slight bit of the ground rejected, so we're accepting all the iron as an iron buzz, but the ground's rejected, and the F is the default. I tend to go for the A because it accepts all the ground noise and you get a lot of feedback. You can have a good conversation with the machine. So you hear the iron tone as well as the good targets, basically. This is the recovery speed. How fast or how slow do you want the machine to react? Higher numbers, the machine will react quicker in amongst trash. Lower numbers will give you a little bit more depth, but you run the risk of seeing too many targets over the coil at the same time if you're searching in amongst iron or contaminated areas. So it really is just a case of finding a balance, and I think the factory defaults do a pretty good job. Bottle cap reject, so if you're hunting parks and you've got troublesome bottle caps, you might want to use that, but use that with caution, because if you use that, say on our UK Roman sites, you may reject stuff you didn't want to reject. And this is like an iron filter, a stabilizer. So if you've got difficult ground and you're getting a lot of spits and cracks from iron, that's the one you want to adjust. I do like the idea of that quick access menu. That saves you scrolling around all those different features to get to the one you want. It would have been nice though to have that so you could save your favorite 5 features onto that quick access program, so then you wouldn't really need to touch the menu at all. And to turn it off, you simply hit the button which you use to access it, but you can also access it by pressing the up arrow key or the down arrow key, and that gets you into this quick menu. Okay, Let's move on to the main menu. And you'll see there we've got all the icons lit up at the bottom. Starting from the left, we've got volume. So obviously your speaker volume or your headphone volume. One more, we have noise cancel. So we can find a clean operating channel. So we've got 6. If you want to manually adjust it, just use the up and down keys to manually adjust it. Okay, one more. This is the ground suppressor, where we can eliminate the unwanted noise from the ground. Next one is the deep target ID. You can make your machine a little bit more punchy for deeper targets. Sometimes you can use it, most of the time you won't be able to. Just set your sensitivity at a sensible level. Now this is our notch, where we can accept or reject unwanted targets. So every time you hit a target, you'll get an icon, a little peg come up at the top. So if you wanted to reject it, just press the tick and you've rejected that particular target. If you want to accept it, press the tick again. That's also known as the notch. Keypad light, so you can light up the keypads. So what we have here is obviously 1 up to 5. Then we've got A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Now the A is the automatic, so it lights up when it sees a target, and then there's a timeout process. Next one across is your handle vibration. So the handle will vibrate when you get a target. Next one, you've got your LED on the front of the machine. So it lights up on or off. One more, that's your headphones. You can see if you want to pair the headphones, Bluetooth headphones, etc, etc. And the final one opens up another menu. Now most of your tone choices are attached to this menu. So let's go up to the first one. You've got tones. 1 tone, 2 tone, 3 tone, 4 tone, 6 tone, 99 tones, that's all tone or full tone, and you've got a pitch mode, and you're back to 1 tone. Go along one more and we're in tone volume. So let's just show you on the iron volume. The second one is at 4 as well, so we want to raise that up to 10. Third one, 10. So now we've got all 3 tones at the same audio level. Go along one more and we have the tone pitch. How do we want the tone pitch to register? So this is iron, pitch number 1. But we can change that iron tone if we wanted. And the same applies with the other tones. Okay, one more. And this is our tone breaks. At what point do we want the tone to start or finish? As you can see there, that's our start and end points, and we can adjust them to what we want. One more, this is the threshold. Do we want a threshold in the background? Next one is tone of the threshold. I like a lower threshold tone. So let's get rid of that, because I don't want that humming away in the background as we talk. Okay, and this one is our audio gain. So this can boost the targets. If they're a deep target, this can boost the signal. So you can also have lower levels where deep targets will sound deep by their audio intensity, and shallow targets will sound louder. So it's basically an audio gain. And if you had it all at the same high level, deep targets and shallow targets will all have the same audio intensity. So it's always a good idea to put a little bit of modulation in that signal. Okay, one more, and this is where we obviously set our clock at the top right hand of the corner there. So you can set your 24-hour clock and get the right time. Nothing exciting there. And then that's it. We've got one more actually, which is the ferro check 1 or 0. And this turns on that bottom display icon just here. Can you see there we don't have the non-ferrous? So we've only got a ferrous meter, so we can tell now how mineralized the ground is. Whereas if we had it before, which was on 1, now we've highlighted the 2 up. So we've got a ferrous indication to the left and a non-ferrous indication to the right. Now that is talking my language. What do you think? Good? Okay, let's dig it. Sweet. 92, 93. Non-ferrous bar, very confident. Depth meter, about 4. Here we go. Oh, what's that? That's massive, whatever it is. I don't think it's a coin. That is a huge, huge piece of lead. It looks like it's got some markings on it. I don't know. I really don't know on that one. That's interesting. I have no idea at all what that is. Hopefully I can put a picture of it cleaned up just here. And if you've got any ideas what it is, why not post in the comments below? Because that one's got me bamboozled. Okay, let's get back to the office and have a look at some more Nokta Legend 2 features. Park mode. So at the top you've got D, which is your factory default mode. That cannot be saved, but you can select the one of 3. So let's assume you've made some adjustments and you want to save it. If you press the arrow key, can you see there with the little head and shoulders, you can go 1, 2, 3, back to D. Can you see at the top there? So let's say we want to save this program into number 1. We hit that and then we press and hold that left button for a few seconds. SP. So that's saved that, that's turned it into a head and shoulders icon, and that saved that as a custom program. If you want to unsave it, press and hold it for a little bit longer and the head and shoulders disappears. So you've got an open program to save some of your favorite settings in. So you've got these 3 empty presets with every one of the factory default programs, and you just scroll through them using that head and shoulders icon, the left arrow key if you like. Once you've got this machine set up I mean the tones you want. So once you've got your tone set up in all those default programs, I don't think you'll ever really need to access that bigger menu. You can detect off that quick start menu quite easily because you've got your main features there: sensitivity, recovery speed, frequencies, bottle cap reject for the US, and the discrimination settings. Well, I remembered them, I nearly forgot. So yeah, it's all there, it's all at your fingertips. Time will tell, I guess. And at the very, very top here, you've got these tiny, tiny little icons which show you what features are active and what your ground reading is. So if you go into ground balance and you hit that, you're in tracking now, so you can see it's tracking the ground. And if you want to factory default this machine, put everything back to factory defaults, just press these two buttons at the same time while turning on, FD, LD, and now it'll boot up in the factory default programs. Okay, here are my thoughts. Everything seems to be quite self-explanatory, but here's the clue. I find those icons really small to read, so I think if you've not got particularly good eyesight, you're going to have to wear your glasses to operate this. You see, a lot of machines today have got a nice big bold screen, and I think that's the future of metal detectors, but I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Now, regarding the chassis, the stem is actually, in my opinion, the best stem in the business because it doesn't twist, it's made of carbon fibre, and it's got a nice feel to everything. Once again, this handle, if I was to be critical about things, I would have liked that to be folding so you could put it in the backpack without any problem at all. I think manufacturers these days have missed out on a big trick by not having a folding handle. The search coils, very, very stable in wet ground. I've had no problems with them, and the weight of it is very, very manageable. It's definitely lighter than the Legend 1. So all in all, I think it's quite a good machine. Obviously the pricing side of things depends on your part of the world and what deals are going. But let us know in the comments below, what are your thoughts about this Nokta Legend 2?